Let's go. Alright, time for the coffee. The coffee time. Let's go. Let's go. Whoop. There we go. Oh, there we go. Alright, Timo Kaffe. It is. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Good. Alright. Well, let's get some of that coffee going. And then we read some articles about the Donkeys publisher. Oh, that's what we have there. And another one was about the Soap Pop Collective. Guys who made the Stacklands. They played not long ago. Guys with a very interesting concept of their collective. We'll see. We'll see what it is all about. Still molding over control there, Termask. Still can take it. How so? How so? Oh, you still can't? Here we go. Just can't jump in 20 minutes in progress. Yeah, you need to live there. You need to live there. It's nice though. When you do, it is very nice. But yeah, I couldn't be arsed to go with like story and everything. So I was just hunting, gambling, and doing some other dumb shit, fucking around for like almost a week, I guess, on stream, and then I just quit. And I barely got anywhere in terms of story. Wait, did I shoot 10 mobs in this area in the head? Wait, what was that? I don't remember that. Yeah, as I said, like the gameplay part is garbage. I do agree. I do agree with you, but it was kind of worth going through it just for everything else. Additional tasks for the wisdom, so that's something new stuff they probably added later. I don't remember that. At least I haven't done any of that, I think. He's secret. The withheld factions. Yeah, that's pretty much how a lot of Warhammer games really roll. That's like any Warhammer game. The fun part, those factions cost a lot. Or maybe even just units from the factions. I mean, as I said, there's a bunch of DLCs that kind of like, Horde mode. At least thankfully, New Game Plus is not a DLC yet. They usually add it for free. But all those like roguelike modes and everything, Horde modes, those already go as DLCs. See what they say. But that's also the thing, though, right? Like, was it really withheld? Or maybe it would just make development way longer and game way chunkier at the start, so they rather just kind of like add it later. They could add it as updates, right, for free, but, They don't want to work for free, I guess. Here we go. Well, I mean, true, Steve, sure. Like, the thing is, like, if you want to wait, if you have some patience for the video games, then, I mean, that's good. Why not? Just get everything on Giga sales, huh? And with all the stuff included and stuff, when everything is out, when everything's patched, that's the best way to be a gamer nowadays. Because shit is, like, quite often just unplayable on release anyway. Might as well. Nothing really wrong with that. Well, nothing really wrong with waiting. I mean, there is a lot of wrong with that approach, though. That's for sure. Chicory. Alright, water. Go back in. Go back into the water. Here we go. The bully system, then. Yeah, that would be already like the proper shit. That would be some dink stuff then. Standalone DLC sound kind of like a good idea, yeah. So you can like step into something from any side, eh? Just get the parts you want, I guess. Maybe get more later. Not super popular. Irish coffee tasted like shit. Then how so? How so? No, you just add like basically like Irish cream or like some Baileys or whatever in coffee. That's pretty much it. Can't really fuck that up. Can't really fuck that up. So Forspoken for 40 euro in the store? That's too much, dude. That's like 30 euro too much, I feel. Gotta wait some more. maybe 20 euro fine if you're really into that kind of games. But yeah, still a bit too much. Still a bit too much. And they predicted their sales. Wait, how? Who? Yeah, cleaning the grinder. More like forgotten, yeah, I guess. Killed both the studio and Square CEO. Well, I think Square CEO was like taking a while already, you know. There was like way worse ills in the past 10 years of his tenure. And they just recently closed Babylon's Fall. Marvel's Avengers is closing. Spoken flopping. Some mobile games closing also. I'm surprised he lasted that long, to be honest. Game got greenlit. Probably got greenlit long ago. When it was all the hype, you know. All the hype to make the live services. Well, some people still do. Like the Hitman devs right now just starting some sort of live service. Well, it's still multiplayer RPG, so we'll see. Maybe it's gonna be kind of like conceptually different live service. Maybe MMO. I mean, I guess you can kind of qualify MMO as a live service game. The MMO, I would say, is a little on a different level for me personally, though. MMOs usually have a little more substance to them compared to live services. Is what the West wants. Yeah, could be that. Could be that. I mean, went with some trends, you know. Got some like celebrity protagonist talking to yourself. Some Zoomer stuff going on. You get some isekai and shit. Can't go wrong, eh? Can't go wrong. And then seems like kind of forgot to add the game there much. I mean, apparently it's not even that completely like bad in terms of gameplay and stuff, at least, right? Writing and everything else is garbage. But for that price, and with that story, I guess, the West Expo, I mean, any studio, I think, has like the whole departments that are supposed to kind of like study the trends and everything. But yeah, I just kind of wonder how, you know, disconnected and delusional some of them are. Because you can easily see that, you know, a lot of people in general kind of feel like, you know, gaming is all about like Call of Duty, FIFA, and stuff like this. Yeah, hard to say, hard to say. Yeah, what exactly was the case there? There was just one Final Fantasy. Well, haven't you heard from Yoshipi? There are some interviews with him actually. We're gonna check today a little bit, some of them. So we'll see what he actually said there. That he said that he doesn't want to be called a JRPG and stuff. They don't like the term. So yeah, I guess they did actually kind of want to make, you know, some something that people not gonna be calling G. And ended up something that people call ill now instead. The ill RPG. The tech demo stuff. I mean, could be, could be. The position of Westerner there, yeah. I'm ready to apply. Let's get me out of here. I'll show them the way. I'm gonna get Square Enix to make all the strategies, roguelikes, and RPGs and stuff, you know. Let's go. Everyone wants to get in there, I see. Man, yeah, this milk is cursed, dude. Just no matter what, it just doesn't go up. Management that they fucked up. I don't think it's the problem of like Final Fantasy alone, to be honest. Like looking at the amount of games that are kind of shit lately, I don't think it's the problem, particularly with like their work culture or something there. Anything devoid of Final Fantasy. Well, I think that's why they are returning all the icons and everything too. So by moving the combat and the gameplay away from the ropes, they are returning, you know, the kind of other elements instead. Change the systems almost every game, yeah. I mean, I would say even 15 already was kind of not exactly like your old ones there. It just doesn't like whatsoever whip. Insane. Too crazy milk. We'll see the next botch in action. This one tastes fine and everything too, just like refuses to go up there. Sometimes you get that. Sometimes you get that. The saucy milk, yeah. It's like the whole bottle, basically. I tried to make like a bunch of stuff with it. But yeah, just is not getting properly fruited there. Properly cappuccinated there. The world, and that's pretty much it. Well, I mean, in case of Final Fantasy, I guess even the world is not exactly the case, right? Because like every game is different. No companions. Are there no companions though? There will be summons now, though, that's for sure. And about companions, we'll see. Can control them? That's true, yeah. But you mean like the voice acting is whatever, though. I mean, they're making something in kind of a setting that is kind of fitting with this voice acting, I guess. And yeah, like, isn't every Final Fantasy kind of different? Like, not even the world's connected really much. most of the time, so see no problems with that. Can make some fucking post-apocalyptic Final Fantasy one day. I would be down for that. Never control them in 15, I see. Lydium, hello. The whole premise of the universe, alright. Den säkert den, det kunde gissa. I mean, you know, it's their choice. They're gonna do this. You know, people like it. Then maybe they will do something else. I mean, for Square, they make a lot of classic games, though, right? They still make a lot of those JRPGs that people like. They still make and remake a lot of those anyway. So for them making something, you know, a little different, it's probably something refreshing. It won't work. They'll switch back. People don't like it. They'll switch back. Pretty sure they're just gonna explore more. I mean, imagine you're already working on the same series for like fucking 16 games, basically, more even, right? There was like all the spin-offs, all this like part two, whatever, right? And like, they're working on these already for so long, and you just like do again and again and again and again. That's kind of the problem sometimes, right? Like you make like, oh shit, another Assassin's Creed. Fuck that stuff. They make things different. Oh man, they made things different. Fuck that stuff. It's like, bro, how would you please everyone? You can't. It's impossible. Hey, Johnny. Alright, let's see him. No. The news we're gonna check later. We're gonna see some articles today, yeah. The news we're gonna do the recap anyway. Today we're gonna check. Let's start this one. Alright. Big Mode's journey from YouTubers to publishers. Co-founder Leah Gastro on what the publishing label brings to the table, natural progression from content creation, and the problem with placing others in rigid boxes. In September 2022, content creators Jason Gastro, better known as Video Game Donkey or just Donkey, and Leah B. Gastro announced the formation of their indie publishing label, Big Mode. Earlier this year, the publisher revealed its first title, a Shared Memories Metroidvania-style game Animal Well. What we've been able to accomplish so far has really exceeded our expectations. Gotten to connect with so many extremely talented people across different fields. Already made our first game announcement, and we're getting ready to show it at PAX East this March. So that's actually another like point into the box with why like content creators and making publishing stuff is good. You just go to some convention or something. You get like a booth with the game, right? And you are just there, and they're already gonna be like a crowd of people just because you are there on the booth, right? So those people are already gonna be there, and everyone walking around will be like, "Oh shit, there's something Pog happening here. Let's go check it out." And this game Pog, everyone's here. What the fuck? That is also one of the points then. Has some very exciting things going on behind the scenes too. So of course lots of work on learning new things, but we have nothing against that. A real passion project and a breath of fresh air for us after working pretty much in solitude for so long, eh? Jason and Leia have been content creators for over a decade. Both started their YouTube channels in 2010, with Jason in particular gaining a tremendous popularity on the platform over the years, now boasting over 7 million subscribers and billions of views. Launching and publishing a company was just a natural progression and evolution from what they've been doing for years and what they care about and what they want to do. One thing I'd like to mention is our desire to help incredible projects stand out. Something pretty common across all forms of entertainment and content is that because of the way people consume media and the insatiable demand for more, some great things can get lost in the churn. So much of everything all the time, so we feel having a way to stand out is more important than ever. And we also hope to inspire people to go after what they believe in and care about, to feel like they can do something and be part of changes that they want to see. Discoverability has undoubtedly been an issue for years for smaller developers, but indie publishing is also getting crowded. Looking at the past 6 months only, Paradox launched a new publishing label focused on small teams. Brace Yourself Games launched an indie publishing division. Starbreeze announced that they returned to third-party publishing. Scottish developer 4J Studios unveiled his move to become publisher. A Deep Rock Galactic developer launched Ghost Ship Publishing. That's not mentioning the thousands of indie labels that have launched before that. It is indeed quite a bunch of that. Hey, Ultan, hello. How are you doing? Hey, Jordy. How are you doing, man? How are you doing? Oh, he's alive. Not clear what Big Mode brings to the table that other publishers aren't. Big Mode is the only publisher with a Biggie the Frog, she jokes, alluding to the firm's mascot. We also have Jason, and since lots of people know his taste, it gives us a great starting point. Got our own platforms and ability to put a big spotlight on things that we believe in. You can already start stuff on that one, to be honest. That's all you need, really. I see what I say. Why not? Why not? Have to get the new badge already, damn son. Alright, alright. I'm gonna get comfy. Sounds good, eh? The sale next week. Already. That's pretty nice. A duo's background as content creators appears to be both a blessing and a curse in this publishing endeavor. A boasting platform of billions of potential players isn't something most publishers have from the get-go, but many have also expressed criticism and legitimacy concerns since Big Mo's creation. An unfortunate reality of our position is that besides lots of amazing support and kindness, we're also used to people being extremely cruel to us online. So we do have a thick skin for these things, though it's of course always disappointing to see classic gatekeeping or people being excessively negative without reason. Something we'd like people to understand is that like anyone else, we're looking for good fits that make sense for us and the developers. Not forcing anyone to work with us, and we wouldn't expect or be able to work with absolutely everybody. People kind of like to place others in rigid boxes, and in Jason's case, there's a tendency to view him as a flat cartoon character instead of a person. So they see him as the funny YouTube gamer guy, and especially if they're not very familiar with his work and what he cares about, I guess it's a bit mind-bending for them to see him branching out like this. For his audience that's been around for years, though, the perception was overwhelmingly positive and understanding of what the natural progression Big Mode is, and we are really grateful for that. Well, the only kind of negative part about this I can see is like some people might start just telling that he's shilling his own game whenever he says something good about some game. I can kind of see that, but you can't really do it any other way around, right? Like you're not gonna release a game and then shit on it, right? Because you kind of released it anyway, and that also wouldn't be right. Life is nothing but shilling. In a way, yeah, you could say so. I see, Steve. I see. All right. Did for years. Me, how would people know what he does in private? Yeah, people don't. I mean, that's a good thing, though. That's a good thing when you can separate, life and the memes. In the initial announcement, Big Mode introduced itself as a developer-friendly publisher, with Donkey at the time saying that the label will be all about building up the games and the developers. Adding that they've put a lot of effort into making the most developer-friendly contracts possible. We're also creators and we know how it feels to be taken advantage of, screwed over, given bad deals, etc. Our goal is to always give much more than we take. Every project is unique and there is really no one-size-fits-all. So everything is considered on a case-by-case basis for exactly what it needs and what makes sense. I wonder if they actually, I mean, maybe we'll see, like what kind of like publishing support they do. Like marketing, obviously, right? The content creators, it's marketing for sure. I guess maybe they also have like some lawyers and stuff on board, right? Obviously, probably for themselves, and they can also give that service to the devs. Because I think like if the main thing they do is marketing, then they can just kind of make very small cut because they can just go like whatever they're going to be promoting is going to be selling for sure. Like whatever Donkey's going to show on the stream, it's going to be exploding 100%, like inevitably. Like he's that huge anyway, right? Like whatever you do, whatever you show, it's going to be like huge boost. It might be kind of complete garbage, right? And people not going to pick it up, but I guess they're going to skip the complete garbage. So they can just like bring anything on board or just show it and get guaranteed profits 100%. So they just kind of like have like small cut, very small cut, and just go in volumes pretty much, right? Like get the quantity basically. So they don't need like to have some crazy big cut just in hopes that, like because one project goes, one project fails. So they kind of need to, kind of compensate for that and have like the cut that's going to cover for other projects that kind of fail. The game will be nitpicked by hell. It's going to be nitpicked by a bunch of people who hate him. 100%. Absolutely. But the thing is, probably those people wouldn't buy it anyway. That's the thing, I guess. Maybe it's gonna change. It'll be like, some dude who like maybe saw the game and then, oh shit, Donkey's gonna be publishing it. Fuck that guy. He did something that I don't like or something. Maybe there will be those, but there will be way more people who will be still like picking it up. Again, there's gonna be a lot of people who just like saw the review and on YouTube and they will be like, oh shit, nice, looks good. I'm gonna get it. Like it's just exposure basically. And then again, he's also networked and stuff, right? Like he's well, maybe not networked, kind of actively. Like I don't kind of think so, since like you don't see him among other big streamers most of the time, right? I guess he's not that super networked, but he's still huge. So he can basically kind of like reach out and approach to like anyone and get the game covered, no problems really. So it's like guaranteed attention from a lot of people, 100%. And nitpicked, I don't think like a lot of people will care much, to be honest. There's gonna be like a huge probably percent of people who don't even know. Like it's gonna be some sort of like just need to put like disclaimer that I'm the publisher somewhere, like at the end or something maybe when like the title's rolling, like with some like Patreon supporters or something. So like everyone already kind of stopped watching at this point, right? And no one even knows that it's like his game. And most of the regular people who got it recommended to them on YouTube or something, they just like saw the review of the game. Oh, looks good. They don't even know that he's kind of like in any form benefiting from that. How big is he nowadays? Well, I mean, it says like 7 million subscribers and stuff. Like, I'm not sure. I don't watch YouTube, right? So yeah, I got the vibe of the Nintendo stuff. I remember when around E3 when the OTK got their game show and he kind of like made a video about it too, about the whole E3 and the OTK stuff. And yeah, there was a lot of Nintendo love there. But the thing is, that's like the common sense now. Not the common sense, but the common denominator nowadays, because pretty much everyone is shilling Nintendo anyway. So it's not something outstanding there, I guess. You just need to learn how to filter some of that. And that's it. And that's it. I mean, he might be just genuinely enjoying it, So why not? Why not? And you also will be able to kind of like sort of filter, like, you know, whatever he's publishing. You can already kind of have an idea, right? The guy is like a huge Nintendo fan, and he's publishing and picked this one for the publishing, and it looks kind of like some Nintendo stuff, and he picked it up, so it's most likely gonna be kind of like Nintendo stuff, so you kind of know what to expect somewhat. Yes, yeah. Yeah, a Figment is free to claim on Steam. Or is it still? It's already a few days, I think. It's already been a few days there. Thinking about what the big mode game is, she asked that the biggest thing is to find games that are fun and exciting to us, citing that they go by Jason's taste first and foremost. Also something Donkey has alluded to in the original announcement, explaining that after a decade as a video game content creator, but he understood what kind of ideas always work, what ideas never work, what kind of ideas are fresh or need to come back, and what is extremely played out. Highly value originality and substance, but something you might not think of that's also super important is finding people that we get along with. Since these are years-long working relationships, so I guess they support them not just in marketing, if it's years long. Oh, it is? You just got it? Nice, nice. Until 9th of March, all right. Yeah, the better know stuff kinda is a little not sure about that one. Not sure anyone really does know exactly like which ideas always work, which ideas never work. I don't think anyone really knows that, because otherwise it would be way easier. Reading books doesn't make you a good writer. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I mean, it's still like basically like I think, in my opinion, right? Like you obviously get some knowledge as a content creator, as even as like avid gamer. Basically, you kind of have a little bit of knowledge, like you know how things work. Uh, and most importantly, as a content creator of his size, also he kind of knows like statistics wise how some things work. But again, it's kind of how it works for his channel, maybe some other channels that he can also like observe, sort of, right? So it's not exactly fully correlated how it's gonna work with customers, like the players and everything, right? Like, for example, like I don't know, like take even what's like some Company of Heroes or something, right? Like some games that are like no one big really streaming them, right? No one big really like playing them outside of their own niche audience. So you could say it's kind of, and if he or someone else, I don't know, like take like who, let's say, mm, who's like nowadays like some huge like they take some like I don't know professional like Call of Duty streamer or player or something and make them play Company of Heroes. That's not gonna work for them most likely. People just gonna peace out. So it kind of like also you know like it's not exactly the knowledge that you can just kind of like extrapolate on every case. It's all case to case basis, obviously, always. Came off extremely smug. Well, I mean that's his shtick, I think, right? So I guess that's kind of like staying in the role. Press can turn into publishers, so can YouTubers. Yeah, and as I said, like I think YouTubers and like content creators in general, like I'm surprised not a lot are doing that. I'm surprised he's like one of well, I mean, pretty much first one, I guess. Maybe there was some smaller ones, but I think he's pretty much the first one who's actually like rolling the publisher route. Because like any content creator organization and just like a group of content creators, they can like as easy publishing did. You already have all you need. You have platform to promote, to market the game. You have connections. You have some knowledge already about how like audience perceives those things and stuff, right? Like you have at least some knowledge, right? And like I guess like in being in the content creation market also gives you a little bit of knowledge depending on how involved you are with creating your own content and everything. So it's a good match, I think. It's a very good match. And the most important, you have the marketing platform already for you, like there. Just go and promote. Done. That's like super easy. I take like Splattercat, right? For example, that like constantly reads some like postmortems of some games, and someone like published their game, no, no traction, nothing, and then like review on Splattercat, and boom, suddenly it takes off. That dude just makes like indie publishing, and there you go. You just like pump the games out that's gonna be successful. Yeah, see Sacred I say, huh? See McCuff I say, huh? How it will work for his image. Most publishers do scummy things. Well, I mean, that's the thing. He doesn't need to. That's the thing. Like a lot of, in my opinion, why a lot of publishers do that is first of all, a lot of publishers need to take into account else, right? Because like some game goes well, they make profit, and for each profitable game, there is a bunch of games that go like zero or go negative. So they need to put like those different percents, right? They need to put those like some claims to like kind of maybe fuck someone over, or to kind of like chain leash someone with them, right? With some like rights and stuff. So they keep publishing that stuff and they don't run away from them. And this kind of stuff. And he doesn't really need to, because as I said, like I think mostly he will actually be picking the games up well. Like everything they're gonna publish, most likely gonna be like at least like a little bit positive. Like it's in my opinion, might be wrong, but I think like unless you pick like something like my game in Unity, for example, right? You most likely gonna be successful with that. Lose their credibility because no longer impartial. That's the only like concern I can see. Yeah, that people look for sure. Some people, the haters, gonna like already like start bringing it up a lot. Like, yo, you guys kind of like conflict of interest. It's like your game, and you make reviews for the game is yours, and you make profits from that game. So aren't you a little bit biased there? That's kind of like will be interesting to see how it works. But I guess we're gonna see that only in the years, because you need like multiple projects to see how it goes in the future. Because maybe like one game, people mostly don't know, people mostly don't care, it worked good, then 10 games in, and people already kind of like see, oh, again, all right, whatever. I'm gonna skip that video then. If they're gonna be making other videos too, right? I think if you kind of like mix it in your average regular content, and you keep pumping stuff, and then just kind of like put in some kind of like hashtag odd segment basically for streamers and stuff, right? Like it's not like they're losing viewers or something for that, like big time, right? They still more or less kind of the same or growing, depends. So I don't think that's gonna change that much. Those who do hate them though, they're gonna like have a field day, that's for sure. And they're gonna have a field day to shit on them. At least they would say. Independent guy to help with marketing. I see. Well, I mean, you need to market on multiple platforms after all, so yeah. I don't know. I kind of feel I would probably try to market like on your own as a content creator, and then kind of see how it goes, how it bounces off people, and then maybe you already kind of see that things are good, right? Then you can maybe like get also some money on like other ways of marketing to reinforce yours. That I think would be kind of good way to do it. But yeah, we'll see. That'll be interesting to see like in some years down the line. With that in mind, Animal Well from Shared Memory, one-man studio created by developer Billy Basso. It was a perfect fit all around, Leia says. Development since 2017, running on a custom engine, Basso's pixel art Metroidvania title sees players explore an atmospheric labyrinth populated by strange creatures and secrets. Due to release on PS5 and Steam with the launch date to be announced. Special game with an extremely talented developer, and one that had already caught Jason's eye at the day of the devs last summer. Yeah, we saw that one. I remember that one. I remember that one. This says we both love it. Our favorite thing about it is probably the unique ways to you get to interact with the animals in the game. There's some really surprising things in there, and everything is very thoughtfully designed. Looking ahead, Lance says that Big Mode's ultimate goal would be to put together a catalog of unique, high-quality games that can be enjoyed for many years. I would love it if people could pick up any Big Mode game and expect a good time, not focus on any quantity goals. We'll just be doing what makes sense and what works for us, for the developers we work with and players. So we'll see. Yeah, 76 is the different approach compared to Destiny. 76 is really mild. I can just, like, as I do, I just tune out for like a year or so, then I return, play some new content. Really, no old content got removed or something either, right? I just go in, I just play some, and I go out. Nothing holds me, nothing needs me to, like, to play, to grind, to get the gear scores and stuff like this. You just kind of go in and relax. It's a different type of game, so yeah, I wouldn't really compare them. I wouldn't really compare them. It's more kind of like ESO, I guess, compared to other MMOs. Just go in, do some like story stuff, do some other stuff, have some fun, especially if you have someone to play with. The game is just full of it. And then you peace out. And then return whenever you feel like it. So yeah, it's kind of more of a co-op game. With a lot of content. Alright, let's see another one. Gonna mark this one as red. There we go. And let's get this one. Let's get this one. Indie Troop Sock Pop Collective on releasing 100 games in 5 years. Aaron Conning and Ruben Naus, two members of indie quartet Sock Pop Collective, share what they learned after releasing a century of games. No, that's a new one. That's the new one. That's a new one. This is a new one. I guess I'm gonna roll odds when I'm already gonna be moving from here then. Pop Collective, a group of 4 game designers from Utrecht, Netherlands, released a century of video games since joining forces in 2017. Yeah, that was like an interview. That was more about Stacklands. And this is about more shit here. No, that wasn't a typo. Quartet successfully developed and launched 100 game projects in the space of 5 years, helped along by a community of Patreon supporters who backed them every step of the way. Clearly, that's no small feat, and we wanted to find out what Aaron Conning, Tim Theo, Ruben Naus, and Tom van den Boogart, the 4 devs that formed Sockpop, learned after designing, developing, and ultimately releasing 25 games each over half a decade. With that in mind, we managed to get a 50% of Sockpop on a Zoom call in the hopes of understanding the individuals behind the collective and what makes them tick. If it's not fun, why bother? Sockpop doesn't believe in rigid development workflows. Although they might be useful at the larger businesses, Aaron and Rubna, the 2 Sockpops we managed to wrangle, explained that each member of the collective employs their own, decidedly loose approach to production. It's an approach that's reflected in the myriad of projects Sockpop has released. The group's whimsical catalog is eclectic and offbeat, featuring a Sims-like with llamas called Llama Villa, a 3D bug adventure game dubbed Kochu's Dream, a universe sandbox named Heliopedia, and a card game meets village builder called Stacklands. There are of course more where those came from, 96 more to be exact. Although each member of the collective has their own creative spark, for instance, Ruben explains they generally design a character before deciding what they're going to do, while Aaron finds inspiration in intriguing tech and mechanics. There does appear to be one unifying mantra that all 4 developers share: have fun. I often hear the phrase find the fun being tossed around by developers, but for Sockpop, the key was to find joy in the rigmarole of development. The group initially set out to make a game every 2 weeks before deciding to give themselves a bit more time and launch a new title each month. Aaron explains that almost episodic release schedule was designed to ensure the collective remained focused while also keeping Patreon subscribers engaged in the project long enough for the group to perhaps even make some money. I mean, it's even more than a month then. Like if it's 5 years, 100 games, that's a little bit more than a game a month even. Still, 4-week window can be fleeting, and that meant staying motivated was essential. At first, the group was adamant that each project they started should be completed. But eventually they realized it was a mentality that would likely lead it to burnout. You've also got to have fun while making the game. If you don't have any motivation, then it's not fun at all, and that's something that definitely changed over the years. And at the beginning we felt we had to finish all of these games, whereas now we prioritize the fun and creation. The professional game jammers, basically, yeah. Dreams are for suckers. Inevitably, that means some projects were cast aside, but there are no regrets about those that didn't quite make the cut. Aaron explains that if a Sockpop member felt apathetic about finishing a particular project for whatever reason, that was usually interpreted as a sign they should either quickly wrap things up or perhaps even scrap the idea and move on. That was easier to do when Sockpop was in its infancy. As the group became more experienced, projects began to scale up and become increasingly complex. Although some of Sockpop's titles began to balloon in scope, demanding more time from their creators, the 4-week release window remained largely in place. It was an untenable situation that eventually reminded Rubna of the value of simply hitting launch and marching forward, and rather than becoming trapped in a cycle of iteration and polish. A turning point for me came last year when I made Temple of Rubo, which is a dungeon-crawling local multiplayer title. I put like 700 hours on or something into that project, and I was actually 2 months late releasing it. Then I launched it, and it just didn't do so well. So I made the next game in just 3 weeks. I had a lot of fun making it, and everyone really liked it. That illustrated to me how important it is to have fun working on the project. You really have to be able to find the fun and be honest with yourself about when it's time to cut the cord. Aaron and Rubin explained that's ultimately the benefit of shorter project. If one doesn't resonate for whatever reason, you can just reset and start over. Time is the most valuable thing you have as a creative. Explains Aaron, who believes that's why developers should do themselves a favor and let their dreams die. Sometimes you release a game and think it's not my best work, but I'll be able to release another one after this. That's a really nice part of this setup. It is still hard to have that mindset in the moment, but in the end, you learn it doesn't really matter that much. You should never chase a dream project. You should just make a game and don't think it's more than a game. It will only set you up for disappointment. I've learned that even if our games are good, or if we think they're good, and that they are maybe going to sell well, it doesn't always happen. Then when you don't expect it at all, a game will suddenly sell well. You never really know how it will shake out, and your self-worth shouldn't depend on that outcome. That's true. That is true. Jordan and Rubna, real success is the community they've managed to build around Sockpop, with the two noting how the financial and moral support from their Patreon backers has allowed them to spend the last 5 years indulging their most outlandish and idiosyncratic ideas. More time equals more game. Looking ahead to the next who knows how many years, Sockpop Collective has set itself a more manageable goal: create another 100 games before they die. With a bit more time on their hands, Arn and Rubna say they hope to make games they can support and nurture over months and perhaps even years. We used to make a lot of games that were about 10 or 15 minutes long. I still think that's cool, but it's not what I want to make anymore. We're looking to make some that are a bit longer. I guess about time. Nothing wrong with some passion. Well, I mean, it doesn't say that you should kind of, like the kill the dream or something. No, it just means like you shouldn't get attached to the project too much, because you never know how it's gonna end up. And if you like attach to it too much, and it's like, oh, it's my dream project, my magnum opus, You're gonna put all my, all my passion into it and everything, all the expectations, and then it doesn't work, and then you kind of end up being, not in the best state mentally. And this is just pretty much like the mentality when you just like, do what you can and see what happens. What constitutes a game for me now would be something that is accessible. When we were starting, most of the games were really poorly explained. That's something I expect to implement moving forward. I want to make stuff that is a bit more approachable. Approachable means trying to ensure that sock pop tiles are open to as many players as possible from the outset. Another drawback of having around 28 days to make a video game is that key features like menus and camera controls can often get kicked to the curb. Well, it's not exactly 28 days, it's like 4 people. Each of them has like 4 month cycle. So like it's 4 months, but just for one person though. It's very hard not to care. True, I do agree. Well, it's kind of like more like um, I guess sometimes it's just better to like go for it instead of like trying like, oh man, this is my like my dream. I need to polish it more and more and more and more, and it never ends. And then it's also, oh, I want to have this also there, and you like start working like, and the scope creep starts and everything, feature creep starts and everything, right? And polishing all the time, and then you kind of never release it, and then after all that, after years of doing that, maybe when you release, you realize it's just kind of poof, nothing happened. Hey Jingle, hello. How are you doing? You mean money wise? Well, I mean, no one else had it, like, playing it and enjoying it. That's the thing. Not even in terms of money. Like, I mean, sure, if you make something just for yourself, absolutely, why not? But like, the thing is, like, I think a lot of people who do that stuff eventually, kind of want to at least to have some people enjoy it with them, because like you're not making it for yourself since you already kind of know everything. Probably not going to be enjoying it the way like, you can enjoy someone else's game, really. Yeah, and that too will done. Yeah, like if you start like getting into it too much, then it's like easier to kind of burn out. It's easier to get disappointed with the results later too and everything, right? So, nice jingle, nice. Sounds good. Sounds good. Shitting out a game everyone just seemed dumb. That's the game jams. Yeah, you just get like a small bite-sized games there. That's the approach of like, yeah, throw shit on the wall, see what sticks. That's it. Like commercially, it works for them good because they also have Patreon, right? So they need to pump something regularly, so the Patreon subs and supporters get something too, who support them and who like the idea, right? And there's people who like that kind of games, the dice rolling lifestyle. Yeah, like less commitment, less like less risks, sort of. I guess let's put it that way. Like you invested 4 months, not like 4 years of your life, right, into that. So that didn't stick. Move on to the next one. If something sticks, why not expand it? They do. They work on Stackland some more stuff, I think. Making games passionately in the free time. It really depends, though. It really depends. It depends on the person, right? Like some people can do it, some people just can't. Like some people do that, but they mostly expect something to happen after. Like it's already kind of complicated, right? It's like person to person basis. But whenever someone is doing something on their free time after work, for example, like quite often it just so potentially maybe in the future they would be able to make it full time, right? Kind of like with streaming. Support that. I mean, sure, that is also an option. If you develop something like super huge, super long, and that people are very interested, like Dwarf Fortress and stuff, right? Sure, that's also the case if you're really into that stuff. Because this is like like the bite-sized games. I don't care about those, right? Like I wouldn't support for that. But the concept is interesting though. It's just like you just commercially doing game jams. You just like testing ideas. You're just pumping out demos that are kind of fully functional. Yeah, exactly, Utan, exactly. Like the part time, like I feel like I mean I don't know. It depends on the person's approach. Like right there is CB for example, right, who works full time and then he streams part time also for a few hours. And a lot of people, including me, are very impressed because like I wouldn't be able to for sure. Because like after like all the work, the commute and everything, all the shit you need to do, and then you kind of need to find energy and time to do something like this, right? And then you kind of just like have some days when you don't feel like it, some days when you just kind of like force yourself to do it. And you imagine if you have like family and stuff like this, you need like to give attention to that also, and to that and to this, and then you might just never finish. Just like a factory at that point. I don't think it's kind of like a factory in that sense. You still kind of like like pretty much like what I have like issue, right? Like I have a lot of ideas. Like I have my notebook, right? That shit is like pumped with like these like small excerpts because I'm like, oh, you could do this thing with that in this way. You write it down, and then you kind of like either you kind of expand it into some like huge project, right? But maybe you don't have more ideas. You just have this. Like it's gonna be some like basically this shit I'm making right now, right? Like I constantly have like new things that I was thinking about for that game, for example, right? I was thinking, how about we make like an option so you can press and it's just gonna play as idler, like just press the button, it just takes decisions on its own, right? And like the combat goes like automatically, for example, all the picks go automatically. You just kind of watch it make decision and watch the numbers go brr, because people like that shit, for some reason. Maybe with some clicking involved, I don't know. Just like watch it play itself, and then you kind of see the outcome in the end, some sort of like statistics, what happened basically. Watch the story unfold. Oh, why not? Just an option like that. Get the trucks, I see. The pump those, that's the thing with streaming though, I have to say. Like the number, like how much you pump only matters when you already made it. Like if you already XQC and you're gonna be pumping like 16, 18-hour streams every day, that's gonna matter for your growth, for your income and everything. When you sit like a few thousand viewers, doesn't matter how much you pump, no one gives a shit. Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. And you're also gonna get like all those like kind of dead times when like not your prime time. If it's like 24 hours, there's going to be night, right, when everyone goes to bed and like everything in chat is dead. So yeah, if anything, it just kind of damages you. Yeah, Trax, yeah. That's why I'm having day offs basically. Like on day offs, I just hang out with friends nowadays. Like I don't really have any more like day offs when I just like sit home. Never happens. Even though I kind of want to. I really like gravitate towards this like full slob relaxation, which is not even relaxation. I don't even feel relaxed after. I just like doing nothing basically, right? And I try to kind of get away from that. So I'm pretty much every day I do something. I go somewhere. Yeah, it takes a lot of time to get lucky indeed, eh? Well, see, it's kind of like it's also like that's the game jam stuff. Yeah, the game jam mentality. It just kind of like it pushes you in different ways. Instead of kind of like thinking through everything. It's kind of like Thurman said, right? Like he can't really on demand just like pump something fast, some like art. Like he needs time for that stuff. And this is the other way around. This kind of like makes you move fast. You don't think like through some like super ideas, like super lore or something. You just kind of like make it fast. And it's a good skill too. Also, it develops different things. It develops you. It allows you to basically really quickly to just like put a foundation, establish something. You can quickly like get some like demo, some model, some playtest, vertical slice, you can just pump out it like in no time because you already made it so many times. You can just do it like this. That's good too. Like, might be useful in the future too, because you never know where you end up. After all, I have none. Well, that's the thing, also, Influx. Imagine if you have some. Like, and get to the CB's also case, like he has a girlfriend and stuff too. So like, I don't know, she's a saint probably. If she's not molding at him. Imagine like 8 hours at work, then you go home and then you stream also for like 4 hours more or something, and then you kind of need to sleep also, and eat and everything, and like go to the bathroom, take shower and stuff like this, and like where did the day go? When are you gonna live your life then? And then replace that with development also. Like streaming, at least in this sense, is kind of okay because you have feedback instantly, right? Like you talk with people, right? You see what they think, what they say, what they like, what they don't like, right? They support you directly to right here and right now. And with game development, you still kind of sit on your own in your free time, alone there, doing something for the years ahead perspective, right? Without knowledge, like what's gonna happen. You have no idea how it's gonna go. If you really have that like passion project, for sure, that's good. But I have a feeling like I don't know, like knowing how it works even with content creation and stuff, like when you don't have any feedback, like if you would be like sitting for a few years with like no viewers in your channel whatsoever, like no one to talk to, nothing, like even if you're super passionate about it, right, and you don't care about money, you still probably would like already, well, why the fuck am I doing that? I could just not even bothering, just like sit naked playing games on my own, completely silent, like scratching my balls, doing whatever I want. Like, I'm not doing it for money, I don't care. So I think that also might be kind of like tricky thing. You might start and then you kind of burn out, or you just kind of like don't know what you're doing, or the passion goes away easily. You have like passion for one project, and then like halfway in, you kind of like, man, I have this idea, it's so good, maybe I should do that instead. And there's a lot of people like that who never like release anything. They just kind of like the idea hopping all the time, project hopping. Let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that, and then nothing actually like ends up released. Which, I mean, as long as you're having fun, for sure, for sure. But they managed to make it into something like commercial that's not just fun, but just what makes profit. And then idea hopping is actually kind of good for them. That's what they do. They like got the idea, made something, worked, good. Didn't work, well, maybe just scratch, maybe just release, see what happens. Hop on another one. I think it's not a bad thing for like the foundation. I just said like for this concept, right? Like they do it. You need to kind of like kill your passion, kill your dreams. Because if you're gonna be like sticking to some project too much, you might get in trouble with that, really. So you just do something, get it out, sell it, or not sell it, whatever. And just release it. And you have some finished projects and stuff, and you kind of have this like already, I guess, like routine also going. You kind of used to it. Like you're used to releasing stuff. You're used to like finishing stuff. You know how the full pipeline looks already. And you at least can like scale it. And as they said, they're making like more long games now because they got tired. They did it for 5 years, it worked for them. Now they want to expand. Makes sense. Makes sense. Sounds like a good plan. At least they're gonna try all of them, all the ways to do it. Releasing stuff is completely different. Yeah, that's the thing. Like you just kind of like need sometimes to wrap it up and just release it already, not like putting more and more stuff in and everything. So I can see the good part about this approach. Good part at least about like the game jamming and stuff, because you can like quickly just like do things, release it. And then there's a lot of game jam projects that got successful. There is a bunch actually. I can't really name all of them. Like there was one I remember I was playing the Idler game that was from the game jam. There are some like big names from like the in in general well received games that started as game jams. I remember I read about some, but I don't remember the names nowadays. Can't tell for sure. Yes, Hilton, I see. No, I mean we'll find out. We probably will find out. I'm not sure if they talked about it. There was info about it in previous article, though, I think. But yeah, exactly, Utan. Yeah, you just kind of like learn something. You learn and move on, and you try different things that way too. Then yeah, sometimes like some of those game jams they kind of work. Like the one I played, the demo on Next Fest. Ooh, what was the name? Where you play as a shark ship there. That started as a game jam too, and then people kind of liked it, and they decided to just expand it into the full game. So you know, yeah, right, let's see. Last year we released Stacklands and it did pretty well, but it didn't have a lot of features that are common in other games and wasn't localized, the menu was really bad. There was no controller support, so with the first couple of updates we added those in. A lot of the games have interesting concepts, but they are not fully fledged. If we were to take another 6 months on them or another year, would be able to remove some of the friction and help them evolve. Rubna agrees and says the team hopes to more rigorously playtest its releases and maybe even port projects that manage to capture the imagination of players to other platforms. In short, he says the plan is to provide a lot more aftercare to eliminate some of the frustrations that players have encountered. Well, I mean, that's what they're doing now. Hey, mind you, it's also like 100 over 5 years and with 4 people. So it's like 5 games a year, which is a lot, right? Still, but like 100 just kind of sounds like it's crazy. Still a lot, 5 games per year per person. That is quite a lot. I'm not sure why 100, because they do like one person every 4 months. So they should have like 3 games per person per year. So yeah, they should have. They moving on now. They got some foundation. Now they go in. Now they go in. Went back to a lot of the games and I couldn't believe anybody liked them. We didn't explain the controls and the camera was jittery. Those are the kind of issues I want to fix. I think what helps now is that we have in the back of our minds the knowledge that we just have to make 100 games before we die. That helps me personally because now I know it doesn't all have to be finished today. Can take a break and come back tomorrow or take another year. Before we wrap up, I asked Aaron and Rubna what they made of Sock Pop's first century. And candidly, the two admit that while some of their work shines, other releases are decidedly half-baked. Still, Rubna believes that all of them are interesting at the very least and suggests it would probably have been really annoying if you made 100 games and felt they were all good. All right. Let's see. There was more. Maybe to link it to me here. Because yeah, I can find it for you. About the numbers and stuff. Yeah, I think it's not a bad thing to just kind of like maybe 5 years and like that many project is a little bit kind of overkill, right? But I think it's a good idea to just like pump that stuff for a while just to get like a hang of it and just get used to it, the whole process and stuff, how it works, like kind of become make it into routine, and then maybe try to like get something better. 18 months is what everyone aims for, I see. 6 7 years and it's pretty great. I mean, that's the thing though. Like, would a person be able to do stuff for 7 years, a team especially, people, for example, right? Without some external funding? Most likely not, right? You need publisher, or everyone needs to like work some job, or like in case of like Stardew Valley, right? You need to have a girlfriend that will be ready to, to fund your couple while you're chasing the success. In his case, he did get a lot of success. So that girlfriend, invested into the right one. That's for sure. But yeah, like it's like that's the main part. How the commitment and everything. Part-time development, part-time working. Yeah. Yeah, in the case of these guys, they're not exactly the team. Yeah, we're talking about like Darkwood, for example, right? Yeah, part-time working, part-time development. Yeah, like if that would be like the passion project, then yeah, sure, part-time working and stuff. But now, after they succeeded, right, they kind of probably want to go for something else and do it like kind of full-time. That's good. That is good. But sometimes it doesn't happen, right? You work on something for 7 years, it doesn't happen, and poof. Sometimes you don't care, right? You just, well, whatever, I was just gonna make something else. I just want to. Some people just like doing that. And just the thing is, when you talk like, 7 years, like those long terms, it's kind of like hard not to burn out and stuff. Like when you're working on something and you don't see anything. Like with streaming, as I said, you at least have like feedback directly and stuff, right? So you can see, like, do people like my content? Do they not like my content, right? Like interacting with people, like getting support from people, you get it directly. So you can invest time and like less. And still, even with that, you have moments when you kind of like, ah, shit, man, like what's gonna happen? Because of the outside stuff, right? Because of like how Twitch works and everything. Sometimes you just kind of like have some bad days and you're like, oh shit, man, is it over? Is it over? Is it time to go apply somewhere and everything? And now imagine if you're doing that like completely blind. You're just like working on something and working and working and working, and then like nothing comes out of it. I'm gonna make Intensa bigger. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But now they also like in terms of the Darkwood, they kind of made it now. They most likely have publishers already. They probably made okay amount from the first game, right? So now they can already like probably quit jobs and try to do something, more seriously. Have those days every day? More or less, kinda. More or less, kinda. Like it's not over now, right? Like I'm okay, I'm fine completely, but you always kind of think, a few steps ahead, and you just kind of like, where does dynamic go, and then there's also outside dynamic that goes this way, and all picture overall kind of like overlapping is not really looking that good, so you constantly think about it. Yeah, I just kind of like stopped at the point that like, I'm gonna just like run everything dry when like I already have nothing else anymore to spend and stuff, and the channel is completely dead or something, then I'm out. I wish the burn rate, yeah. That's kind of subconscious. You just like, see how things go and everything. Overall. Like it's a nice spot to be in, as I said, always. Like I'm really grateful for where I am and everything. It's really nice. It's really nice. But you constantly have those thoughts that, like few years from now, what can happen? You can go all the way up, you can go all the way down, you can stay where you are. You never know. And the thing is, like, stay where you are and going down, considering how economy and stuff works nowadays, it's kind of not that good potentially. If you won't be able to cover your bills and pay for your food, then, that will be time probably to start something else. That's why the game dev is also good, because I would be able to, maybe, if that will go somewhere, right? I would be able to make something that will be content for stream and something that also will make some extra money, hopefully, maybe, and you will be able to kind of merge those two into something that kind of works. That's kind of like more of a dream stuff. Worst case, at least it's content, right? And maybe some skills that I would be able to like take and move somewhere else. Not enough to fund another several years of development. They probably have publishers though. Yeah, for sure, Steve, for sure. No, I do agree. It all depends on the person. On the person, yeah. I'm just like saying that in general, I think it's a nice thing to like at least somewhat work in this mindset of like really quickly pumping out stuff. And you can burn out on everything, absolutely. That's for sure. You can burn out on making these games too. No, I'm just saying that like the chances that you at least kind of make something, like the chances to burn out when you finish something, I think are less, because like from what I read, like from all those like the game dev like Reddit and stuff, like when you like finish something, it is like good. It feels good, and it's kind of like reinforcing mentally. Even if you like didn't maybe like do that well, you kind of like, I did it, I made it, I have this. I can, again, you had the project, any project, you can show it as a resume already that I have finished project. Here you go. I went through all whole process and I released it. Maybe it didn't sell that well. That's why I'm applying to the company, for example, right? But there it is. Dark would still self-publish. I mean, why would they like publish it now though? No, they wouldn't do it probably. Unless like some port for some different platform, then maybe. That's how it usually goes. Like if someone already self-published and released something, usually they already don't go under publisher, rarely. They only do for the port, for example. Got money from coding, you would be happy to have that as a job. And that's the thing also, like when you have the finished project, you have a chance that you already maybe will earn something, and that also gonna like boost your motivation, right? When you do something into unknown, you don't know how it's gonna be received and everything. If you can keep it like full passion project, right? Like you don't care. Will it sell like or anything? You just like do it for yourself. Sure. Absolutely no problems. Absolutely some people just like that. Why not? Like I just do it to learn, right? Like I also don't really care how it's gonna go. Will it sell? I might, even if I'm gonna be releasing, I might just do it for like free or something. Why not? Just something to learn. But yeah, it would be nice to even finish it actually, to wrap it up. Pump out an article a month, all right. That is also like the thing, for example, like it's nice when you have like the full-time job, right? And you are on the side you're doing something. Then yeah, that is fine. That is fine, but if you like full-time, then you have like a little bit different mentality for that stuff too. Like those dudes also maybe like started as a fun stuff, and then they kind of, well, we can make a living out of this, right? So let's try to go with it. And they try to go with it, and then it kind of starts already, putting the restraints on you. Kind of with streaming in a way too, right? Like you start like part-time, for example, then it kind of works a bit. You started earning something, you kind of, maybe it's time. You go full-time, and then you already kind of, well, shit. And now I need to kind of like follow some kind of, like path. I need to like, I can't just disappear, right? Because then I'm not gonna earn any money. So I need to like, I need to put some stuff, some content, some games out, for example, right? Uh, like you already get in the grind, basically. That's the thing. Suddenly the enemy HP is double, yeah. You just kind of like, you already realize that you depend on that, and you need to like to pump it just to kind of, fit the bills, like pay the bills, get food and everything. And that kind of changes already mentality completely. Yeah, exactly. Like if you do the hobby, then yeah, like you can go for like any dream project whatsoever. If it's a hobby, why not, right? The jobifying the hobby, yeah. You can always like do any dream project. Well, maybe some people like hobby to just go and do game jams. I think actually a lot of coders like that more because you have like, very tight time frame, you have some goal, and you need to like get that goal done in some cool way, interestingly, and very fast. So I think a lot of people actually kind of like it for that reason, because working on some huge project will be a lot of stuff when oh shit, how was that done, where did I reference this, where did I reference that, oh shit, I need to change the names for everything, oh man, there's so much shit to change now and everything, right? And this is just like quick, fast, and it actually like, when you enjoy coding, I think that's the best feeling, right? When you don't have like some huge goal, but you have like one interesting goal that you need to do very fast. When you have some sort of like pressuring time limit, and when you have like the moment, when it all clicks together and you just kind of like do it stuff, and yeah, that feels good. Game jammers are addicted to the new thing, I see. The failure costs very little. Yeah, exactly, and that too. That too. You can do something small, and also again, like when it's like the dream project, right? A lot of people, even with hobby stuff, right? They have like some spare money, they get like some assets to buy, right? Some art to buy, because the dream project, it needs to be the one, right? You need to make it beautiful. You can't get squares moving on screen, right? You need some dang stuff. And for this stuff, you can just like pump it with like some basic graphics you made yourself, basically, and no one's gonna be judging you because you pump a bunch of those and they cost like $1 a pop, you know, a sock pop. 1 second, there was something about the numbers they have there. Okay, edit. Oh, maybe it wasn't here. Yeah, I think it's not here. I'm gonna find it then. I will find it. Here we go on this one, I think. Yeah, there it is. All right. So, yeah, the time of seems like summer last year. In the summer last year, they had $8,500 per month on Patreon, which I mean, for 4 people in almost the capital of Netherlands, that's probably not that crazy much, but it's solid. It's very solid, I guess, especially since they, I guess, live together too. So at least the rent is pretty low. Yeah, that's Patreon alone. Last summer. Then from Stacklands alone on summer, they also made 1.5 mil. That's on Stacklands alone. They did. They have like the tips here too. A small trick to ship so many games. Secret is that everyone in the collective makes their own game completely on their own. Essentially 4 months. All right. Steam is an important amplifier. The first 2 years or so, Sockpop games weren't on Steam. We weren't sure if a hardcore Steam audience would be interested in our small games. It's also the issue of having to make a new Steam page for every 2 weeks, and the annoyance of having to pay $100 for every release. True. That held us back for a long time, but after talking to Valve about it and setting up 70 Steam pages for their back catalog, the team now near a simul ship to itch and Steam. So they started with itch.io in general. Turns out Steam catalog revenue was worthwhile. I would note, since we started releasing our games on Steam and before the Stacklands release, so like basically they released stuff like in the beginning of last year. So it's not like a bunch of stuff goes through itch, seems like. We've been earning about 50-50 between Steam and Patreon, so it essentially doubled our revenue. So the cross-promotion and discovery boost was worth it. Even before the hit happened. Sockpop takes a one-concept game jam idea to extremes and model a somewhat commercialized game jam, and all the Sockpop devs are both stylish and talented, so they get to try ideas. Turn-based tower defense with dice, Souls-like starring bugs, a solar system terraformer. In Microcosm, show them to the Steam audience and see what sticks. Fascinating. Yeah, with Stacklands, we're currently working on some free content updates. They did a bunch there. After that, we might release DLC. There was something else there, one interesting thing about all their catalog there. I think it should be here somewhere. Oh, you also translated them. That also was very, very big success for them. Oh yes, Stackman's a $5 title to buy on Steam. All of Sockpop's games between $3 and $5, and it turns out the game going viral can have unexpected effects for others. We also have a bundle that has every single Sockpop game on it, which is normally about $200. That one actually sold about 1,200 copies. Never really expected anyone to buy that. So yeah, they also kind of like go the full catalog sales there too. Leaks about Counter-Strike 2, Source 2. They're moving Counter-Strike to Source Engine. We'll get there, we'll get there. We will get there. Yes, Little Musk. Well, I mean, that is also the thing, though. Like, you start working on one thing, and when it takes that long, you just might not even care anymore about that. So, like, the short form, I think, might be viable, especially when you kind of like part-time and the small guy and everything. It kind of helps you to at least do something, right? Before you got tired of the Norse mythology, you could already release something that was kind of like smaller than initially was expected, but you know, at least you did finish it. You got the wrapped project. You can put that project on the resume and everything, and maybe even earn something from that. And at least learn something from that. So I think that's kind of not a bad concept. And you know, by the time you sold some stuff, or not sold even, like released some stuff, right? You just release something, and then when you kind of already go for some big things, you can at least say, you know, that at least, you know, I already have some release projects. I did something. I got some knowledge. I got some experience. I can show something to someone, right? Not like, oh yeah, I'm making like my dream game. Oh damn, nice. Yeah, something can show me. No, I just like making it for 5 years already, but it's not like anywhere yet. Ah, all right, let's see. Another one.